in 1 second on the YouTube Comedy Schools channel, and we are live on Facebook Live. And good afternoon, everybody. It is 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, April 1st, 2020. I ain't fooling. This is a show that we call Living on a Thin Line. We bring it to you now every day at 2 p.m., every day at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And it's we call it as a brief respite from our current situation. So that's what we're doing. That is our goal. That is our aim. That is what's going on right here. We're waiting for some folks to show up, to pop on. We also want to thank all the fine people who then watch this after it pops up. But right now, we're here live. We're going to talk about a couple things today. It is Wednesday. We're waiting to see if the week is going to be as wild as they're saying it's going to be on the news. I don't know about you, but I have cut back quite a bit on my news consumption. I don't need to hear breaking news every 5 minutes. So right now, I mean, you can pretty much catch this stuff. You pretty much catch this stuff, in the morning, or the afternoon, or the evening, and kind of know what's going on. I'm looking a little bit more at local stuff now. Didn't you? I did not used to look at a lot of local news, local to the town that I live in, Little Maricopa, this beautiful oasis in the desert out here in Arizona. But I watch our local news a little more, or read our local news a little more, and also more Greater Phoenix news and Arizona news, because this is where I'm going to ride this sucker out. You're going to ride this out wherever you are, and we are going to ride it out. So I just thought I would tell you that cut back on news a little bit, quite a bit. Kind of do have the TV on still on a somewhat regular basis, just to have some sound in the house sometimes. Getting our house in order fiscally, and this week we're going to start getting it in order house-wise. Get it in a little bit of order house-wise. It's kind of it looks like a you know what we are. It looks like an artist. It looks like an artist home. So we're going to straighten it up a little bit. Our big project that we're talking about right now, as far as a silly project, is alphabetizing all of our music. We're going to do that. Hello, Jim Perry. Hello, Randy. Hello, Mary Brown. People are starting to pop up. Hello, Trey Goodman. There we go. I'm waving to you guys whenever we get a chance. This is what we're doing on Facebook Live. If you're watching this on YouTube, I cannot, there's no buttons to press or anything to say hi to you, but hi to you on YouTube. And of course, out there listening on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. So we're going to alphabetize albums. We got CDs. I think I got cassettes somewhere. That's one little project. Little projects like that that can keep our minds clear and sharp. And then let us handle the bigger things that we have to handle, because we are, every once in a while, have to take a little brain break. That's what the show is, kind of a brain break. And if anybody's got a broken brain and can do it, that would be me. We finished Ozark last night. My wife and I finished Ozark last night. Shirley and I finished it. We were up far too late, till like 2 o'clock in the morning, finally finishing. It is a pretty dark show. The interesting thing about that show, and Trey Goodman, you might be able to chime in on this, is that, and I didn't notice it so much in the last few episodes, but no matter how dark it got, a lot of the cuts in the scenes were what I would call comedy cuts, the way they would cut from one scene to the next. Hello, Kevin Brown. The way they would cut from one scene to the next, the takes that people would do. They were what I called comedy cuts, although by the end of this particular season, there just wasn't a lot of comedy to be had. I love the show, and I love the work, and I also love watching, seeing the topography, because I am from Missouri, and supposedly, ostensibly, it takes place in the Ozarks in Missouri, and deals with some local Ozarks, local Missouri politics, and kind of gives you a feel for some of the people who would live in a rural area like that. And they're pretty close to the mark on a lot of things. The familiarity that people have, the a bit of the drawl that they have. Although the show is filmed in Tennessee, although the land and hello Champ, hello Shale, the land and the topography, etc., is I think it's filmed in Tennessee, is very similar to the Ozarks. They probably filmed it in Tennessee for the tax benefits. My hope, my desire, my dream is that that was the end of the third season, and that we will see a fourth season in definitely in 2021. That they will be able to, in short order, get back to filming and make the new one. So anyway, that's something we did last night. We finished Ozark. We are doing the business that we have to do today. We are setting up our online workshops. We have one tonight. We have an advanced comedy workshop tonight. Really looking forward to it. I'm going to put out an article sometime this week called "Comedy in the Time of Zoom." Comedy in the Time of Zoom. The interesting thing about comedy, you guys, for those of you watching who are fans of comedy or involved with comedy, is that most great comedy is not seen live. Most great comedy is not seen live. Almost every comedy film you can think of, and so many of the sitcoms you can think of, were not filmed in front of live audiences, yet were extremely funny. A lot of times you have watched a stand-up comedian on television, and you're by yourself, yet you're still really enjoying the experience. So the main difference that's going to happen with stand-up comedy in the foreseeable future, in the next couple of months or few months, will be that a majority of stand-up comedians are going to have to find a way to be able to work like this, the way we're doing right now, to be able to, it'll change the cadence, it'll change the rhythm, but it'll be a cadence and a rhythm of speaking to a camera. By the way, if ever you do a television show, stand-up, and I've done a few, very few, and they were a long time ago, and many of my friends had done many more. However, they always teach you something important. That is, talk into the camera. Talk to the camera like the camera is a person. So a little pro trip. If you can't pronounce it, how can you give it? A little pro tip about stand up in the time of Zoom, and it won't always be Zoom. It'll be something else as well. We'll be working without an audience of live human beings in front of you, but possibly many, many more watching you on camera, and learning how to connect with them, connecting with the people, the dozens, the hundreds, the thousands of people who will be watching you on camera, as opposed to a live audience. I worked for a company about 10 years ago called My Studio, and they were going to roll out kiosks in all 50 states. These little kiosks. They were kind of round. I don't know. They were like 3 feet by 3 feet or something, and they had cool backgrounds. And they had a camera and they had a microphone, and you could go in there and make a video. And it was my job to make comedy videos and comedy sketches in that little tiny space. And we learned a lot about being able to do stand-up, be able to do monologues, be able to do comedic speeches, humorous presentations with not only no audience, but in a tiny booth. It was mainly set up for singers, and singers would come in and karaoke to songs and stuff. The project didn't roll out. By the time they rolled it out, technology had caught up with it, I think. But I met a wonderful, great group of people over there, including the legendary sound engineer, Shelly Yakis, who was the engineer that helped put together so much of the soundtrack of our life. Speaking of which, we always showed you a little goofy knickknacks and doodads here on the show, autograph things. We went through a bobblehead phase. Now we're going through an autograph baseball phase. Okay? So, it won't be as fun to look at, but we can talk about it. You see that? You see there's an autograph on it? You see it there? YouTubers, you see it there? Yeah. All right there. Look at it again. This is a baseball. This is a official Major League Baseball, and it is signed. It was signed in 2006. 2006 by Hello DJ. It was signed by the legendary Cleveland Indians pitcher Bob Feller. Bob Feller. When I met Bob Feller, he was an old man. He was a white-haired, grizzled, tough old bird. I met him at a roast that we did many, many years ago. He is a Hall of Fame baseball player. So this is autographed by a Hall of Fame guy. Champ de Blasio says, I used to get an alert when you're coming over. I didn't get it yesterday or today. I don't know what the situation is, Champ. We'll try to see if there's something we can rectify on our end, you guys, as far as being able to get alerts about the show. Just know this. DJ Payne says he met Rolly Fingers once. Well, Are you sure it wasn't rolling fingers in your case, DJ? You just keep in mind that we're going to be on every day at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and kind of set your clocks for that. I don't know if I already said hi to Kelly Wilson. Hello, Kelly Wilson. Hello, Craig Buckeye. We've got friends that are tuning in from my high school days at Northwest High School in House Springs, Missouri. Both Kelly and Craig. People who are currently at work with these comics, DJ Payne, friends I've made on the internet like Chomp de Blasio, Guy Hanna, very funny guy, Mike Ramsey, Shale Brenner, Joe. We had a good group of people coming on here. Randy Ioma, some of you I'm going to see tonight in the workshop. Getting ready to roll out additional workshops. This is how we're going to do it for a while, you guys. In one way, I'm more connected with people now than I was prior to this. Not that I'm, we would all give anything for it to be prior to this, but it's not. Kelly Wilson said, did we ever go to school? A couple of days a week. We used to skip a lot. Funny, but I'm staying in touch with people like Kelly on a more regular basis and making new friends. Craig Buckeye, who I haven't talked to in a million years. Teresa Marie, hi, how are you? Kelly Wilson said, did we ever go to school? So when I was in high school in the early 70s, we graduated in 1973. By my senior year, I already had most of my credits and was not so interested in sitting in a classroom having someone lecture me as I was going out and tasting Epicurean delights. And there was a bar in High Ridge, Missouri called the Jules Bar. And I had a fake ID, and it was a terrible fake ID. It was a college ID because I was taking one college course where the college professor actually came to the high school where we went and taught a creative writing or English or something. And I thought, I'll get ahead of the game here in college. By the way, I never graduated from college. And a guy named Craig Pemberton and I typed out on a piece of toilet paper 8/13/51. My birthday is 8/13/55. And they taped it on there. And in the early days of the 70s, before bars became as popular as they were with a younger set, that worked. So we used to skip school a lot and go to the Jewels. We spent Friday nights in the Jewels, a rough old bar, a rectangular claptrap sitting on a gravel parking lot full of construction worker guys, mainly gas station attendants and high school screw-ups. But one morning, I had skipped school with Craig Pemberton, and we went to the Jewels to drink, and we're just laughing like hell, going, we're supposed to be in English now. We're supposed to be in history now. And I think I got an excuse to go out and look for a job. If you were going to go out in my senior year, if you had enough credits and you wanted to go out and look for work, they would actually give you time off to do that. But anyway, it was late morning, and Craig and I were now pretty drunk on Schlitz malt liquor, and then we went out hitchhiking in front of the Jewels Bar to go possibly to another bar or someone's house to get high. And who picks me up? Who picks us up? My father, Jerry. My father, Jerry, pulls up. Goes, hey, boys, go on, get in. He says, where are you boys going? We go, we're going back to school. Where you boys been? And we were, we've been out looking for jobs. We had an excuse to go out and apply for jobs. He goes, okay, all right, good. Well, I'll just take you down and drop you up in front of school. And he dropped us off. Craig got out of the back seat. I started to get out of the front seat. He stopped and goes, hey, Tone. And what, it was kind of hard to find a job inside the Jewels Bar, ain't it? I go, yeah, we went in there to get gum. It was all right. See you at home. So he was a pretty cool guy. So I've got friends from high school on here. I got friends who are current. Showed you the baseball Bob Feller. It's my only autograph, I think, by a Hall of Famer. So that's pretty cool. Now we're going to talk about well, who else do I have?
That Smith guy.
Oh yeah, I will show you that later. We do have another Hall of Fame player autographed baseball, and I will show you that tomorrow, and we'll talk about that. I also have a guy who's in the Sportscasting Hall of Fame. So we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about record albums right now. And the reason we're talking about record albums is there's not a particular reason for it. It's having something to kind of build the show around. You call it nostalgia if you want. The whole idea being that as we are sheltering in place or staying home, working from home, doing all of those things, we got to find other things to occupy our time. There are no sports on television. There are no late night shows. Everything is a repeat. Everything is a rerun because there's no production being made. That will change soon, we hope. But right now, this is what we got. Me talking to you here. You posting stuff up here. Okay, asking me questions. Us having this type of conversation right now. All right, it's a group conversation. So many of you on here, and you can ask me anything, and if I have the ability to answer, I will. But to have something to build around the show, we thought, well, a lot of people have a lot of music in their house they probably don't really listen to anymore. In the age of Sirius XM and Pandora and downloads, a lot of us have let something that was beloved in our life, which was the music that we went to a record store and bought, fall by the wayside. So the idea behind this is, if you've never heard of these bands before, you can at least YouTube, Google them, and listen to them. And if you have heard of them before, to remind you of what they meant to you, and maybe you'll go back and listen to them again as well. The first thing we're going to show you, all right, kind of offbeat, but a band I love very much. See it? See it? Now, before you say anything, I know it's backwards. And I don't think there's a lot I can do about that because it's a mirror reflection. So what is this? This is the Atlanta Rhythm Section, and the album is called Red Tape. In the Atlanta Rhythm Section were huge in the Midwest in the mid-'70s. Huge in the Midwest in the mid-'70s. The big hit off this album was Mixed Emotions, but the big FM hit on like rock radio was Another Man's Woman. That had a killer bass solo in it. So the Atlanta Rhythm Section was made up of a bunch of session guys. Ronnie Hammond with the lead singer had been with, I think, the Classics 4 or Spooky Tooth. Before that, he had a hit. He may have been the one who sang Stormy. But they put together this band, and it was a hot band. And I had the privilege and the pleasure of seeing them live, I think maybe in 75 or 76 at a place called the Ambassador Theater in St. Louis. You should check out the song Another Man's Woman if you like long songs with a lot of great hot licks in them, which was such the watchword in the 70s with Leonard Skinner's Free Bird and the Eagles' Hotel California and so many other songs, these long songs with these great solos. Another Man's Woman by Atlanta Rhythm Section is one of the best. So you're going to want to check that out, okay? Just YouTube Atlanta Rhythm Section, Google Atlanta Rhythm Section, and then you'll be able to watch, I'm assuming, watch and listen, or at a minimum listen to their songs. Next album, because we're doing 2 a day, we're going to talk about, this is one. This is a great one. Check it out. Check it out. Okay, what is this? This is none other than the legendary, mythical, wonderful Frank Zappa. There he is right there, Frank Zappa. And this is We're Only In It for the Money. That is the album. It was a double album that he put out. I'm sorry. It was a single album, but double-sided. And here's the inside of the album. Hold on, I'm going to show this to you. See that? See that? So what is that? What is that? That's he had a wicked sense of humor, and of course that was a parody of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover that he made. I'll show it to you one more time because it's fun to look at. There you go. Show it to you close on YouTube. Show it to you there. Zappa was clearly a musical genius who also launched so many careers and was funny. And, of course, his big hit, of course, was a novelty song. He did all this incredible stuff with music that was so completely different. But those of us who loved him followed him down whatever corridor or alley musically he wanted to go down. And it wasn't dance music, and it wasn't rock and roll, and it wasn't R&B, and it wasn't smooth jazz. It was Zappa. It was Zappa. Original, unique, stunning, enjoyable music. And then later on, he put out a song called Valley Girl, which was a novelty song, and that became his one hit. Frank Zappa is a one-hit wonder. But if you want to check some really interesting stuff out and see what kind of experimental stuff was going on in the 60s into the 70s. You want to check out Frank Zappa. And there's even a movie he made, a silly movie called 200 Motels. He worked with so many great artists, the guys from Little Feat, guys named Flo and Eddie, who had been with the Turtles at one time, worked with him. It's quite an impressive list. So those are 2 albums that we've showed you, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Frank Zappa. You can't really get much further apart than that for the era. And we showed you the baseball, the Bob Feller baseball. I know it's April Fool's, and a lot of people are putting up April Fool's jokes on yeah, that's right. The Yellow Snow song, Kelly. Husky, don't go and eat that yellow snow. Yeah. Funny stuff. We loved him as teenagers, loved him. And I'm so jazzed I was able to dig in, find this album. Somebody had asked me on a Saturday show if I had any Zappa to talk about. Teresa Mary, were you born in 1955? Can you send me some of the water you drink? You were born in 1955. Can you send me some of the water you drink? We drink just good old tap water here. Teresa Marie always, yeah, but I thank you very much for saying that. We're all gonna, you know what? We're all gonna stay looking good. We're all gonna stay healthy. We're all gonna stay strong. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Hello, Sammy J. I think it was Sammy who either talked about Zappa or canned heat earlier in the week. Was it you, Sammy, who asked about that? Nick Rupert is watching. Hello, Nick. You know it. Hi to you guys. Guys, you got to remember, I come on at 2 p.m. and I only go a half hour. So sometimes I feel bad as I see people jumping in late because they go, oh, wow, I owe them something. But we're only going 30 minutes. So be sure to tune in at 2 p.m. and tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your pals. So this is what we dug out for you, Sammy. There you go. There you go. That's a Zappa album right there. And that is We're Only in It for the Money, which was an incredible album. I think I have some canned heat. We'll dig out canned heat. I know a lot about canned heat, and we will talk about them sometime this week. So we're going to make sure you tune in. Keep in mind that we do all of that kind of at the front of the show. We show you a knick-knack, paddywhack. We show you a little novelty album, a little novelty item, and then we talk about record albums, and then whatever you want to talk about. Like I said, today is April 1st, April Fool's Day. I'm not going to do any April Fool's jokes, but if you're putting them up on Facebook, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. There are people, and I understand, who are saying, are having a hard time accessing humor right now. But humor will see you through crisis. Humor will help you. It will not see you through totally. We're not doctors, okay? But it will help you. It will help you cope during distressing times, as this one is. My ability to be able to do this with you guys every afternoon helps me deal with these stressful times. It gives me something to build my day around. What else gives me something to build my day around is at 6 o'clock tonight, I will be doing my Zoom advanced comedy workshop, and I'm so excited to get together with all those people who are in that workshop, because we're going to put together a show for you. For those of you watching right now, you're going to want to send us, don't send it here, but send it in Messenger to me. Send me your email, and you might be able to be in the audience April 17th, in the Zoom audience, April 17th, when we do our first Zoom stand-up comedy show. Hello, Pam Lutz. Good to see you. Cousin Mimi, I think I already said hi. So in Messenger, or at comedyschools@hotmail.com, which is my email, send me your email, and we're only going to have about 80 people in the room. But you may be one of them, and you'll be able to experience a Zoom comedy show. This is going to be the way that we're going to access our programming for a while. I guarantee you this, there will be certain stand-up comics who more people are going to see them through social media and Zoom than saw them live. We're going to learn how to entertain you this way. We're going to learn how to be just as funny and just as entertaining and just as giving to you this way than we do when we're live. We're going to find another way to do it. Fortunately for me, like I said a long time ago, I worked with a company where people had to do stand-up in a box, in a little box. We had dozens upon dozens go in and do their stand-up in this box, in this little booth. So I gained some valuable insight there as to how to make people, and my goal is to make everyone, my goal as a comedy workshop teacher is to make everyone funnier than me. I learned that from Lee Strasberg, the legendary acting coach Lee Strasberg. I was privileged to be in classes with him in the early 80s. And someone asked a question. I forget how the exact question went, but I remember the answer because the answer was important. He goes, well, we hope that every one of our students surpasses anything that we've done. And keep in mind, Lee had taught for years. He taught Legends. He directed shows on Broadway. He had been nominated by that time for an Academy Award for acting. He says, our goal is to have everyone be better than us. He goes, could you imagine having a third grade teacher who didn't want anybody to be able to have any more knowledge or wisdom or ability than a third grader because they taught third grade and they didn't want anybody to advance? So we want you all to advance, okay? We're all going to advance together. Me, you, everybody. We're going to do this. You tune in here every day at 2 p.m. All right? We'll talk this way. I don't have the ability to take phone calls right now. So I think it's better like this. I'm going to answer your questions here. But we're going to wrap up now because we're getting close to end time, 2:30 every day. Tune in tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll have more fun stuff. Let's recap. Bob Feller, Hall of Fame, autographed baseball. Listen to, Google, find out, YouTube, Frank Zappa, Mothers of Invention. And, of course, great Southern rock band of the 70s, Atlanta Rhythm Section. Okay? Sammy Chase says, kids born from the quarantine shall be known as children of the corn. It's you know what? That joke is good, but it's a little corny. Corny. All right, you guys, I got to roll. Love you all very much. Sam, you got to laugh my ass off there. That was good. It's a good joke. Love you all very much. See you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Facebook Live, YouTube, Comedy Schools channel, ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Okay, YouTubers. You always get the bonus there because I can't get it turned off right away. But I hope you're doing well. You stay safe. Okay, you stay safe. We're all going to be safe together. And we're going to say goodbye for now. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.